Hi everyone, thanks for your patience. I've not been making as much videos as I normally do, mainly because there's a lot of people doing videos right now, so I feel like there's a lot of traffic. I do the live show on Sunday and I enjoy doing that, but for the most part I haven't been making a lot of videos for people, but I decided to come on today and honor the community. People say, could you do more recorded videos? Absolutely, and to not have them be more than, say, 15 minutes long, which works perfect for me. So I'm just hanging out, chilling out. Thank you and gratitude to everybody who has joined, signed up, and renewed your membership. Supporting this channel means a lot to me. For those people who have just become fairies, angels, and above, I'm going to start doing a lot more videos on simple living, simple magic, simple living, and how we use the principles of naturopathic medicine to live comfortably and affordably. I think it's a good deal for $2.99. Hopefully we can keep you healthy and save you a lot of money in the process. So that's my passion, and I'm glad that I can offer that service to the community here. $2.99. So I'm going to be doing a lot of nature walks. We'll be doing some foraging, some plant identification. We'll be making herbal medicines from my home. We are already doing that, teas, medicines, and also doing some cooking. That's the fairies and angels. For the people who are HCRV and above, those are people that want to get training to become heart-centered remote viewings. We do have the HCRV videos available occasionally to people at the fairy and angels level, just so that they can audit the class if they decide to join us in the future. And then finally we have the elders, and I want to give gratitude to the benefactors. The benefactors pay $99 a month and they receive a free reading once a month, and they often join because they have small businesses, etc., and it works out great for them, so we want to thank them. So in terms of my personal life, as you all know, I bought a bike. No, it is not electric, but somebody on the channel, one of the people who watches the channel, said that they had an electric tricycle. Well, that person has gotten me completely hooked, and I've been looking at economically friendly vehicles. And if you want to get into this trend also, and you want to be free, and you don't want to deal with traffic, and you want to be eco-friendly, and you want to stay young forever, okay, there's something called an ELF trike, E-L-F. Trike, spelled T-R-I-K-E. And what it is it's a trike that looks like a car. You don't need a license to drive it. It's pedal, but it's also, you can put batteries in it so that you can just put the pedal to the metal. It goes at about 21 miles per hour at rapid pace, so you could cross the country in it. See America. You could put yourself in this thing, and if you want to be free, which is kind of my fantasy, is I've always wanted to be a little bit of a hobo, you could take this thing, and it can take, a pulling capacity, quite a pulling capacity, so you could take your tent, you could take everything. It is the environmentally cleanest way to travel. They've compared the ELF trike to other forms. Again, it doesn't require a license to handle it, and it can carry enough of a payload to where you can go, trekking off by yourself. There also is a ELF trike trek, so you can even use it to go into rugged trails and stuff. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, so I've been thinking about getting one of those. There's also an ELF trike. People who sell them used, there's a community And so for those people who don't want to pay full price, I'm looking at used as well. So that's what's going on with me, with the channel, with the environment. I wanted to just come on, do the Empath's prayer, and just do a general reading for the United States. I know that a lot of people are concerned that we could have a Republican governor in Virginia. I feel like these things shouldn't be stressing us so much as policy and the fact that we're moving towards a new green economy regardless of who sits where, because that's where investors are headed. But let's go ahead and do the Empath's prayer. We'll go in and take a look at the future of the United States in the coming weeks. I want to also see what the mood of the country is after the elections rather than just focusing on the elections one at a time. Okay. I'm going to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and wisdom we need to empower us all on our journey, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. Let's shuffle and take a look. The overall mood in the country in the coming weeks. Okay. All right, where we will be in the coming days. In the coming days, there is a feeling in the country that things are becoming more balanced, that the energy in the nation is actually becoming more balanced, and that it's starting to become more fair. What people want is they want what's fair, whether they're Democrat or Republican. They want the workers to be paid fair wages. They want respect. This is a card that denotes fairness, equal pay, to have a justice doled out. So a feeling in the country that justice is being doled out, that fairness is being doled out, and that things are becoming balanced, and if there is an issue of economic inequality. So I would say that that's positive. The karma card is interesting. For those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I like to pull a card under the base card, and I've been doing that for 20, 25 years, and it's because I always feel like there's a little bit of energy there, and I've come to call it the karma card, and it's an energy that's kind of pushing through, or what is associated with the karma of this blessings. And it's a beautiful card. It's the star, and so the karma is that the United States gets to be the star of the show again, and I really like that, because when we think about all the rotten, horrible, awful things that have happened in American history and continue to happen in this country, it can be very, very disheartening. But when we meditate and we sit in the energy of the star, it is something very positive. It's as if one has received an anointing or a blessing from Spirit. And I think what we really have to do is recognize that the United States is a country with infinite possibilities, with people who have been both brilliant and amazing and wonderful, but also pretty tyrannical. And so that is the amazing, wonderful thing that is the United States, in the sense that it was a country that was founded with support for inventors, new ideas, creative people, artists. And that can be a mixed bag, right? But the star comes in. Star is fame, glory, etc. And I think there's also a feeling here that America is made up of more than just politicians. It's not just politicians and politics that fuel America. It's the American people and what the American people want. Like the great walkout that happened in 2021, when we would follow the energy, you had the employment issue, and then you had jobs and people moving in different directions. So This is a time for America to really star. We can be the top of our game. How do we turn this around? How do we take this situation and make America its best self? The star card also leads me to think that people in the private sector, actors, entertainers, musicians, people who have power in social media, etc., are going to become activists in ways that really help move the country forward. Those people that have a platform, those people that have a microphone, hopefully will be using it in the coming days to really speak about justice, the stars, and this idea of creating balance in the world. Where we are at right now as a country, we are very much looking forward to connecting more on a global scale. I know there are people that are anti-global, globalism, but this is really more a global view of the world because we're looking at global problems. We're looking at global problems in terms of the environment, etc. And so we can see the first house is the world. So one of the things that Biden has done is this attempt to bring the world together, both trying to bring the political world together, but also scientists, climate scientists, and also coming together in terms of public health. Because if we don't have a global community tackling things like public health, another virus could come along, theoretically, that's not 2% mortality like COVID, but say closer to 100% like Ebola, and then we've got a serious problem. So this is why you build infrastructure, right? And this is how we were able, Obama and other world leaders, to keep that from happening, right? And now they have vaccination, etc. So that is the importance of this global energy moving in. What's crossing us is it's a decision, also judgment. So it is a sane decision. So it is a time that we are entering into where people in the public eye, people who are famous, people who have the power to do so, will be moving the country and the nation into a position where there's more balance and equality, and where there's more of a communication and less hostility with the outside world. It kind of goes back to my fantasy about having an elf and, you know, an eco-friendly vehicle and crossing America, right? You know, the more we stop hiding, which can happen as we get older, right? The older we get, the more we hide, right? And that's the worst possible thing we could be doing. Create as much of a safe zone for yourself as you can, preparing for the worst case scenario. But this is a time when it's really encouraging all Americans to get out and communicate with the world. When we communicate with the world and we realize that other people are for the most part good and they're just like us, it takes away a lot of the fear. And fear, unfortunately, is a lot of what's been driving the politics and the policy in this country over the last few years. What is above us is things that the former world that we knew is coming to an end. You can see the Clydesdale, right? The Knight of Pentacles is an energy moving in where things are stagnant and they're not moving. What we sit below us, strong, firm female energy, the Queen of Wands moving in. It's what we sit in, it's what we marinate in. I often will associate it with strong, divine feminine or the primordial feminine power of the Queen of Wands. It's beautiful that it's colored in orange and yellow, which are the colors that were actually considered romantic colors in the African or Yoruba tradition because it's the color of gold. You know, wearing gold is very sexy. And the goddess Oshun, she was the primordial female in the African tradition, probably the oldest tradition that human beings know of the goddess. And of course, Oshun, her flower is the sunflower, and she is also the African equivalent of Aphrodite. So she is associated with human love, romantic love. So the country is going into a period of intense power, right? What we sit behind is we're coming out of a time of violence, chaos, erratic behavior. Also, the Knight of Swords is the card that I use for COVID. And that's because it's an angry, violent wind energy. And COVID is an energy of an illness that attacks the lungs. And in Chinese medicine, that would be what we call wind qi, the energy of the wind, the lungs. Wei qi being the ability of us to defend the lungs, the immune system against attack. So I feel it's also talking about us coming out of the time of COVID and entering into a new time of the Lovers, Six of Cups. So it's also saying that in the future, in the near future in the United States, there's more of a give and take, there's more of a cooperation. The new Republican Party is not quite as spooky and scary as the former Republican Party because everybody wants a piece of the pie. We've talked about the new green economy, the fact that if this is where the contracts are going, and if you are somebody who is wanting to get a government contract, then of course you're going to start moving more towards the green economy, and you're going to want to be a player. So you can see the Six of Cups coming in. And with that World card being in the first house, yeah, a lot more exchanging of ideas, a lot more people reaching across the aisle in the coming days. Where we're at right now, the legacy can be also family secrets, which would denote that there are secrets that are about to come out about our happy little family here in the United States, and it revolves possibly around the Justice Department prosecuting or opening its hand regarding ongoing investigations. You can see the Justice Department standing in the 8th house. So this is an investigation into family matters, or yes, something's been going on with America. And the hope and the fear, of course, of America, the hope and the dream. And then the final outcome is Five of Pentacles, which is a card that has to do with poverty, but it has to do with poverty associated with exile or leaving the things that kept us impoverished in the past, whether it's relationships with toxic people or toxic jobs, businesses, etc. And I think it's part of what we call the great walkout. The clarification for us going forward, yeah, I still have the allergies, is that there will be shaky days ahead. This often happens in the fall, third quarter. We'll see these kinds of shaky economics. We could be seeing that also globally. We know some scary stuff is happening with China's market. It's like China, they spent too much money on road and infrastructure too quickly, and they didn't create strong infrastructure. And so consequently, China's new economy is kind of built on a house of cards, and there's a feeling like they should have known better. So that's kind of seesawing, all this stuff collapsing. They didn't adequately prepare for global warming. There's a lot of problems starting to happen, and this is an extremely expensive country to try and maintain, China. So we have the people are very concerned, and you also have the Four of Pentacles, which is holding the coin. Now, before I close today, there's one last thing I want to say to people before I close the reading. It's not what happens to us in life. This is the remote view message that I wanted to give everyone. It's not what happens to us in life that tears us down. It's our inability to adapt to things. So there's a term we know in medicine called homeostasis, right? Where we can create balance for a patient if we give them the right medicine. Right? Say, for example, the right insulin for somebody who has type 1 diabetes and is insulin dependent, right? So we create homeostasis, allostasis, the ability of somebody to calm themselves or balance themselves. Allostasis, I believe I'm pronouncing it right. And psychologists, when we examine mental health, one's ability to balance themselves and to right the ship, regardless of what the winds of change are, is a sign of health. So change is coming. The winds of change are always coming. Don't fear the winds of change, because change is inevitable. Instead, focus on how you can adapt to these changes. Go with the flow in ways where, rather than fighting the changes, let's see how we can adapt and move and adjust. For example, me getting my new elf trike would be a way of me conquering my fear of driving. I can avoid the driving instructor, which I now realize is a bigger fear for me than driving. It's a whole thing. My license expired, and I'm afraid of taking the driving test, I now realize. Anyway, so the point is, whatever your fear in life is, or whatever your problem is in life, there are ways that you can find balance and you can adapt so that you can continue to go forward. And no matter what's hitting us in the weeks and days, changes in the economic, do you have a get out of jail card? Do you have an escape hatch? Nothing overly dramatic, but they're just talking about the ability to go with the flow. Do you have an escape hatch if you lost your job? Do you have an escape hatch if you lost a spouse overnight? Just being aware that with life comes change, and for that reason we encourage people to learn to be adaptive and to learn to go with the flow, because as much as we'd like to believe we want to control everything, we can't. All right, I want to thank everybody for watching this quick video. Be sure and share, like, subscribe, and if you'd like to come in for a tarot reading, I would like to give you a tarot reading, and the information is below this video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.